what a crazy year, right? So before we get into the movie, I want to kick off by talking about who has come up with the best coronavirus lockdown skill. Like a banana bread, what are we talking? Juggling?
I learnt to pick locks. Well, I thought I did, but it was only a deadbolt. And then when I tried it on the real lock, it was a bit of a pickle. I couldn't get into the house. But thankfully, because it was the wrong house, I was just trying to break into a stranger's house. So it was actually very good, but I couldn't do it successfully.
So you're going to embark on a career as a cat burglar now?
Maybe I already have. Who knows?
All right, Dylan, what about you? Tell new skills?
Well, some new skills, some old skills. I mean, I love just all things fermentation. So speaking of pickles, I've been pickling, which is kind of cool. I did some watermelon rinds, and just pretty standard pickles. I don't know why cucumber has demanded the audience as the premier pickle. But for the most part, yeah, just that.
And what about branching out into like a kimchi or something like that?
I mean, I'm all for it. Those require a very specific type of brine, and I just don't have that. Usually I use my own brine after a long days of work outside in the sun.
Remind me never to eat your pickles.
That's what they all say.
And what about you, Hero?
I've eaten a lot of takeaway food. A lot. There's one place I go to. It's like just a chicken burger, but the best chicken burger in the world. It's pretty simple. It's just ranch, buffalo, fried chicken, and some pickles in a bun, and it is delicious. And I've ordered it way too many times. So that's my skill, is eating a lot of burgers.
Well, look, if it was a competition, I think Josephine's lock picking is probably going to win. But look, you're all winners in my eyes. And now, like, there's a lot of pressure on Robert Pattinson to be the new Batman. But like, if we're being real here, there's like way more pressure on you guys to keep the afternators happy, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I for me, it's like the note you never tell an actor to cry, because then they're going in and all they're thinking about is crying, and they can't actually be in the moment.
You're talking about like how you balance honoring the source material, but then, like making it your own performance.
I think it's about, you go in there and you know that there's a responsibility and a pressure to get the role right, but then you have to throw it away and do your thing. And luckily you have a director and your producers who are there to rein you in if you're going in the wrong direction, because it can be very difficult to direct yourself while you're acting.
And Hero, so the books have been read, 1.5 billion times or something like that, like some insane amount of times. So like, what was the experience like of making that first movie and then all of the craziness after it came out and people loved it and it made a heap of money at the box office? Talk me through that.
Yeah, so how much time do we have? It was definitely like a big deal for me. I think a lot of people like asked, like, are you ready? Are you ready? And like, I remember Anna and Jen, the producer, telling me, like, asking if I'm ready, and I think like you can only be as ready as you kind of like as you can be until you do it. Do you know what I mean? There's only so much prep you can do before you dive in, and like, was definitely like overwhelming and a big deal for a certain like chunk of it. But I guess like, you just, with all things, you get used to it and you learn to appreciate the good things and not worry about the minor few tiny bad things. And yeah, I think on the other side of it, it has been like a long, big deal, but like only in a good way. And now there's nothing bad about it. I'm super grateful, super happy.
And is it fun to be part of something that so many people loved?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of the time we just put our head down and do the work and try and do the best. And then when you get those odd few moments, when you do have a proper conversation with someone who's really loved it and it's done a lot for them, that is like a really, really special feeling to have done something that people really cared that much about. So it's very lucky.
And as for you, Dylan, like, what is it like to come into this world, into the after universe? Was there a bit of trepidation, excitement? How would you describe it?
No trepidation, really. The excitement more so, I feel. I had kind of known what I was getting into from previously meeting Hero in Italy and seeing him walking down the streets. So I kind of understood what was going to happen. But I think that the nature of the fan base is super creative and welcoming and cool. So it's been really cool to see the feedback from me. And there's a lot of interesting photoshopped art of me now, which I can send to my brother as a joke.
Is there an average afternator? Is there something typical about all of these fans, or are they all different? Or what is your sense of this fan base?
I think everyone is obviously different, and like obviously you can never say. But I think if there is something like Dylan mentioned earlier, how like across the board with that kind of the fan art and stuff, they tend to all be super creative, and I think because of where the story originated from, being on Wattpad and kind of like slowly growing into itself, I think a lot of fans have kind of been given quite rightly the inspiration to believe that they can start from just a simple idea that they just do for fun, and it can blow up. I know like I've heard from speaking to fans, a lot of them have made great like friends. They've been friends with best friends just simply from DMing each other to talk about after. So I think the creativity and the hub, the fact it brings so many people together, that kind of community vibe is consistent for all the After fans.
And great in a year like this, right, where everybody's separated and isolated.
Yeah.
And
exactly. If you can bring people together from the interwebs, not breaking the 2 meter rule or 1 meter or 6 foot or whatever it is for you guys. Yeah, it's weirdly perfect.
And I hear that the Afternators tracked you guys down during the production in Atlanta. They were following you around. Is that right?
Oh, they'll find a way. They're probably listening to this right now.
Yeah.
They are. It's insane. They're everywhere, and they're so passionate that they are everywhere.
Where did we leave Tessa after the first film, and what can we expect from her in this sequel?
Well, at the end of the first film, she's just been through her first real experience with love and heartbreak, and we see her at the start of the second film in a very different point in life. She's now trying to move on. She's got an internship at Vance Publishing, and they're sort of drawn to one another, Tessa and Harden, like magnets. And this film's really about them and their relationship, whereas the first film was more about them finding one another.
Mm. And by the looks of it, it's a complicated relationship.
It is. It's complicated and it's messy, and there's many, many issues, and that's sort of part of what the story is about. It's about working out those issues and seeing if they can work them out.
And Tessa in the first movie is also, she's learning a lot about herself as well. Does that journey continue in the second film? Does she start to really figure out who she is and her place in the world?
It does, and that's something that I loved about this role and getting to do these films was in the books. It's a very different Tessa in each book. She ends up in a completely different place at the end of the series than I think she ever would have expected to be in. And I think that happens to a lot of people in life. They find themselves in a position where they never thought that that's where they would be. So in the second film, we see her sort of transitioning from being a teenager to adulthood and that early stage of life and coming into her own as a woman.
And Hero, Harden, your character was a bit of a heartbreaker, a bit of a bad boy. Is he settled down at all in the second film?
Oh, I think he tries, but it's tough to tame those bad boys, I think. Yeah, he gives it a go. I think that's what I think. A lot of the movie is about that kind of battle within himself to start kind of changing for the better. And yeah, I get it's that battle that is the story. So if we lost that, we kind of be done, I guess. If he was just like suddenly like, you know what? I've got my life is all in order now, and I'm walking to that.
Yeah, there's no fun in that. And Dylan, you play Trevor, the new kid on the block. What makes your character tick?
Numbers, mostly analytics, maths, things that I'm not good with in real life. No, but he's very upwardly mobile in general, and he is kind of working hard to improve himself and better himself and make his life exactly the way he wants to make it. And at one point or another, he kind of collides with Tessa, and I think he's starting to fall for her and see her in that plan of his. And he's not malicious in any way, but he definitely complicates the situation.
Yeah, everyone loves a love triangle, and we've been hearing that this film is more steamy than the first film, and looking at the trailer certainly doesn't pour any cold water on that theory. Just how steamy does After We Collided get?
Well, it was very steamy for us because we were shooting in Atlanta during the summer, trying to pretend it was Seattle in the winter. So quite literally, we were steaming on set.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think fans can expect a lot more intensity in this time